The bridge of incidents, trusting the unexpected path to your desire. If you've ever decided to change your life, more money, a better relationship, a new home, deeper health, you probably hoped the path would be simple. 1. Set the intention. 2. Take a few steps. 3. Get the result. Nice, neat, linear. But real life rarely moves in a straight line. Instead, things start to happen. People leave or enter your life. Jobs shift. Opportunities appear from strange places. Plans fall apart so better ones can form. Sometimes it feels like everything is getting worse, not better. And yet, when you look back later, you can see it. There was a bridge of incidents, an interconnected chain of events, conversations, and coincidences that led you from where you were to where you wanted to be. This is the Seishao Bridge of Incidents. All the steps, visible and invisible, that connect your inner decision to the outer fulfillment. You don't design every plank on the bridge. You don't know in advance how long it will be or how it will twist and turn. Your job is not to micromanage the route. Your job is to decide your end. Live in the feeling of that end being real. Walk the bridge as it appears, without panicking when it doesn't look the way you expected. In this article, we'll explore what the bridge of incidents really is, why you shouldn't judge events as good or bad while you're on it, real lifestyle narratives, job loss leading to a dream career, breakup leading to better love, how to stay anchored in your chosen outcome when the bridge feels chaotic, why you must avoid forcing the bridge and instead keep your focus on the end. By the time you're done, you'll see that what looks like chaos in the moment can actually be the most loving route to the life you asked for. 1. What is the bridge of incidents? The Watcher Bridge of Incidents is the pathway that unfolds between the moment you internally accept your desire as yours and the moment you physically see it in your life. Think of it as the in-between movie the universe plays to bring your inner decision into outer form. It includes people you meet by accident, articles or videos you stumble across at just the right time, unexpected changes, relocations, job shifts, synchronicities, inner nudges to take certain actions, make certain calls, or say certain things, events that, at first glance, feel inconvenient or even painful, but later prove essential. It's called a bridge because you can't fly from one side of the canyon to the other by wishing. You also don't have to build the entire structure yourself with bare hands. You can cooperate with the bridge by holding your inner end steady, by responding to what shows up with as much trust and creativity as you can, by refusing to be intimidated when the steps don't look how you thought they would. You're not being tested for fun, you're being escorted step by step to the version of life you internally chose. 2. Why the path rarely looks straight. We like predictability. The mind wants, if I do X, Y happens. But big desires, new careers, healed relationships, transformed finances often require skills you don't fully have yet, people you haven't met yet, opportunities that don't exist yet, old structures to be rearranged or removed. From your current vantage point, you cannot see everything that needs to move. So the bridge of incidents might look like a job loss that pushes you out of a dead-end role, a breakup that cracks your heart open to recognizing real love, a sudden move that places you in the exact environment you needed, a temporary financial squeeze that makes you learn new skills and boundaries. At the time, it can look like disaster. Later, you say things like, if that hadn't happened, I'd never be where I am now. Losing that job felt like the end of the world, but it was actually the beginning. That breakup shattered me, and now I can see it freed me. The bridge is rarely pretty or comfortable, but it's purposeful. The key is not to demand, make it painless, make it linear, make it exactly how I imagined. The key is to say, I know where I'm going inside. I'm willing to walk whatever bridge gets me there in the most loving, efficient way, even when I don't recognize it as loving in the moment. Hatam. 3. Why you shouldn't judge the bridge as good or bad. When you're in the middle of your bridge of incidents, you're like a person reading a book who stops halfway through a chapter and decides, this story is terrible. You don't have the full context yet. You're seeing one argument, not the reconciliation, one loss, not the restoration, one closed door, not the chain of open ones that follow. The mind loves to label, this is bad, this is unfair, this proves it's not working. But often, what feels like a step backward is actually a redirection. What feels like rejection is protection and realignment. What feels like collapse is making room for something more aligned. This doesn't mean you have to pretend you're happy when you're not. It simply means you suspend final judgment. Instead of, this is the worst thing that could happen, you experiment with, I don't like this, but I'm open to it being part of a better story. I don't understand this yet, but I trust something is unfolding. That little shift keeps you available to the next step on the bridge instead of shutting down in despair. 4. Narrative 1. Losing a job and finding a dream career. Let's walk through a detailed, realistic story. The desire. Alex has been working in a boring corporate role for years. Inside, they're craving work that feels meaningful, a flexible schedule, better pay, a sense of using their real talents. One day, Alex decides, really decides, I am someone who does fulfilling, well-paid work that fits my life. They imagine waking up happy to start the day, getting messages like, we're so grateful to have you on the team, checking their bank account and feeling relief instead of stress. They don't know how it will happen, but inside, they accept this as their new end. The first incident, job loss. 3 months later, out of nowhere, the company restructures. Alex's position is eliminated. They feel sick to their stomach, angry, scared, betrayed, terrified about bills and their future. The mind screams, this is proof that life is against me. I should have stayed quiet and not wanted more, but somewhere deeper a tiny voice whispers, you asked for a new career. You knew you couldn't stay here forever. This might be the bridge, even if you hate how it looks. Alex allows themselves to feel the grief and fear, but they don't adopt I'm doomed as the final story. The bridge continues. Incident number 2. A friend shares a posting for a part-time role at a small company aligned with Alex's interests. It doesn't pay much, but it offers flexibility and room to grow. Incident number 3. Alex takes the job and through it meets someone who runs workshops in a field Alex loves. They're invited to help behind the scenes. Incident number 4. Helping with workshops lights Alex up. They realize, I could do this on my own someday. They start taking online training in the evenings. Incident number 5. A participant in one of the workshops has a vacancy in their organization, a role that combines teaching, coaching, and creative work. They remember Alex's steady, kind presence and recommend them. Incident number 6. Alex gets the job. It pays more than the old corporate role, offers flexibility, and feels fulfilling. Over time, Alex moves into an even higher role or starts a side business based on their new skills. Looking back. In hindsight, Alex can see if they hadn't lost their job, they would never have taken that part-time role. Without that role, they would never have met the workshop leader. Without the workshops, they would never have been visible to the person who connected them to the new opportunity. The initial job loss, once labeled the worst thing ever, was the Bassas first plank on their bridge of incidents. Had they locked themselves into, this proves I'm cursed, they might collapse into despair, take the first soul-crushing job out of panic, miss or dismiss the subtle invitations along the way. Their choice to hold, even shakily, to their inner end allowed them to walk the bridge, even with tears in their eyes some days. 5. Narrative 2. A breakup that leads to better love. Now let's look at how the bridge of incidents can show up in relationships. The desire. Maria has been in back-to-back relationships where she overgives, settles for inconsistency, silences her needs to keep the peace. She finally reaches a point where she says, I am done repeating this. I am someone who is cherished, chosen, and safe in love. She starts imagining sitting on a couch with a partner, laughing and feeling relaxed. being able to bring up difficult topics without being punished. Hearing, I love you, I'm not going anywhere. She begins practicing a new inner identity. I am worthy of real love. I am someone people are glad to commit to. The first incident, the breakup. Shortly after this inner shift, her current partner starts pulling away more, dismisses her when she tries to talk about feelings, reacts defensively when she asks for consistency. Finally, they say, I don't think I can give you what you want. Maybe we should just end this. Maria is devastated. Part of her wants to beg, shrink, or accept less to keep them. But another part of her, the part that chose a new story, knows, I did ask for a love where I am cherished and emotionally safe. If this person isn't willing to grow with me, maybe this breakup is the first step toward what I truly desire. She cries, grieves, and doubts herself. That's real. But she doesn't turn the breakup into proof that she's unlovable. She keeps a quiet inner stance. This hurts, but I won't go back to begging for crumbs. I am still someone who is worthy of consistent love. The bridge continues. Incident number 2. Time passes. Maria pours into herself. Therapy or coaching, journaling, learning about boundaries and emotional health. Incident number 3. She notices she no longer finds roller coaster love attractive. The hot and cold behavior that once seemed thrilling now feels unstable and exhausting. Incident number 4. She joins a new hobby group or community. There she meets people who are more emotionally grounded. Incident number 5. One person in particular stands out. Kind, present, consistent. They pursue her gently, without pressure or games. Incident number 6. Her old fears flare. Instead of collapsing into old patterns, she communicates her boundaries, takes her time, watches their actions. Incident number 7. Over months, they show up again and again with patience and respect. A stable, healthy relationship grows. Looking back, Maria sees if her previous partner had stayed, she might have continued shrinking herself. The breakup forced her to prioritize healing and self-worth. That inner shift made her uninterested in old patterns and available for the new, healthier love. The breakup, a bad incident, was actually a plank on the bridge toward the very love she had internally chosen. 6. How to stay stable in your end. When the bridge looks chaotic. So how do you hold your inner end, your desired outcome, steady when the bridge feels like confusion, delays, detours, events that look like the opposite of what you asked for? Here are powerful practical ways. Define your end clearly. Your end is the state you're choosing as your reality. I am someone who does meaningful, well-paid work. I am someone who is loved, chosen, and emotionally safe. I am someone whose body is moving toward health and ease. I am someone who lives in abundance and peace. Write it down, return to it often. When chaos comes, remind yourself, this is a page in the story, not the whole book. My end is still the same. 2. Use an end scene. Create a simple imaginal scene that implies your desire is fulfilled. A friend hugging you and saying, I'm so proud of how things turned out for you. Seeing an email that says, we're excited to welcome you to the team. Hearing a partner say, I'm not going anywhere, I choose you. Listening to a doctor say, you're doing great, everything looks so much better. Visit this scene before sleep, when you wake up. During the day when fear spikes, let the sauna feeling of it's done comfort you more than the appearance of current events rattles you. 3. Stop using the 3D world as a constant scoreboard. If you keep asking, has it changed yet? Has it changed yet? Has it changed yet? You're like someone baking a cake who keeps opening the oven every 30 seconds. You end up delaying the process. Instead of obsessively measuring, return your focus to your inner stance. It is moving, even when I can't see it. My only job is to hold the end and respond as wisely as I can to each step that appears. Check reality enough to take sane action, but not so often that you uproot your own seeds. 4. Reinterpret setbacks as bridge pieces. When something unwanted happens, try this mental habit. Instead of, this shouldn't be happening, it's over. Try, this feels like a setback, but if my end is still true, this must be part of the rearranging. I'll let myself feel this and still hold to where I'm going. It doesn't mean you have to like it. It means you leave just enough space for a better meaning to emerge later. 7. Avoid forcing the bridge focus on the end. One of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to micromanage the bridge. They decide, it has to happen through this job. It has to be this specific person. It has to look exactly like the fantasy in my head. When those particular things wobble, they panic. It's ruined. I'm blocked. The universe is against me. But your inner decision is about the quality of what you want, not the exact casting and props. Let the path be flexible. Suppose you desire a loving, mutual relationship where I feel safe and adored. That result can come through the current person, if they're capable and willing to grow, or someone new who fits your vision more naturally. If you cling to, it must be this person, you might block yourself from even better matches arriving. Similarly, if you decide, I want to express my gifts, be well compensated, and have freedom in my work, that could show up as a promotion, a job at a different company, a freelance path or business, a totally unexpected career shift. Your inner end is the destination. The bridge is the route. Let the route surprise you. How inspired action versus forced control. You are meant to act, but from a place of alignment, not panic. Inspired action feels like a nudge. Email that person now. Curiosity. What happens if I apply for this? A sense of rightness. This step feels like part of my story. Forced action. Feels like desperation. If I don't do something right now, it's all ruined. Manipulation. Stalking, begging, chasing, trying to twist someone's arm. Exhaustion. Doing 1,000 random things because you don't trust any of them to work. A simple guideline, hold the end. Listen, take the next step that feels sane, honest, and aligned, not the step driven by sheer terror. When you do that, you let the bridge unfold rather than trying to hammer random planks in all directions. 8. A practical bridge of incidents daily practice. Here's a simple routine you can use to walk your bridge with more peace. Step 1. Morning. Reclaim your end. Before touching your phone, 1. Take a deep breath. 2. Repeat your chosen end. I am someone who is safely and richly provided for. I am someone who is deeply loved and chosen. I am someone whose body is moving into wholeness. 3. Spend 30-60 seconds in your end scene, just enough to feel the tone of already done. Step 2. Daytime. Respond, don't react. As events happen, ask, if I really believe my end was certain, how would I respond to this? Choose the response that matches your future, not your old fears. Example, you get a confusing email about work. Old you, spiral into panic, assume you're in trouble. Bridge walking you, take a breath, ask a clarifying question, continue assuming you're moving toward better work. Step 3, evening, reframe the day. At night, reflect. Where did I see potential bridge pieces today? Where did I react from fear instead of from my chosen end? How would I like to respond next time? If something upsetting happened, you can mentally revise it. Imagine it resolving. Imagine yourself handling it with more calm and clarity. Let that version play a few times before sleep. You're training your mind to see yourself as someone who is carried, supported, and capable, even in tense moments. Step 4. Night. Sleep on the end. Before sleep, revisit your end scene again. Let yourself drift off in the feeling that, even if I don't understand today, I know the bridge is building. My job is to keep choosing my end. 9. When you look back, the bridge makes sense. Right now, you may be in the middle of a transition that feels terrible, a job ending, a relationship shifting or breaking, a move you didn't plan, a diagnosis or financial reality you didn't want. You're allowed to feel everything about it. You're allowed to cry, be angry, be confused, and also, you're allowed to hold this quiet possibility. This might be part of a bridge I don't understand yet. One day, you may look back and say, if that breakup hadn't happened, I'd never have met the person I'm with now. If I hadn't been forced out of that city, I'd never have discovered the place that feels like home. If that door hadn't slammed shut, I'd never have walked through the ones that opened after. The bridge of incidents is the long, winding answer to your inner decision. You don't have to like every step. You don't have to pretend it all feels good while you're living it. But if you can, keep your end in view. Loosen your grip on how it must happen. Stay open to the idea that life might be more on your side than you think. Then you can walk your bridge with more courage, trust, and grace. So today you might ask yourself, what end am I choosing no matter what? What if everything that's happening now is moving me toward that, even if I don't see how yet? And then with that quiet knowing in your heart, you take the next step. Not because everything is clear, but because somewhere deep inside, you've already crossed the bridge, and now you're just watching the path reveal itself beneath your feet.